With Christmas right around the corner, we're back with another cooking tip. We're going to show you some simple techniques to help increase the quality of your Christmas turkey. Not much in the way of a step-by-step how to make a turkey, but just a couple of quick little tips in making your turkey better. I've got my tea because it's getting cold outside and I'm trying to warm up while I do some cooking tips. So let's get started. The best turkeys I've ever made have always been made with the most natural ingredients, fresh ingredients. If you're using herbs to season your turkey, then I recommend fresh herbs. Obviously, it's not the greatest time of year to get fresh herbs from your own garden in certain parts of the world, but you can always go to the grocery store and grab some fresh herbs. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some butter, because who doesn't like butter? And we're going to mix some fresh herbs with our butter, and that's going to go in under the skin, and that's tip number one. We like to season the meat as well as the surface, because when you start slicing into the bird, you're getting a lot of that surface or skin seasoning, but you want extra seasoning soaked right into the meat. Brining your turkey is another way to do it. We're not doing that this time, but I often do, and it's amazing. We're using butter as our base. And in that butter, we're going to mix some rosemary that we've gotten out of our garden and some thyme. So we just add a bunch so that we've got a nice even mix of herbs and butter. And we're just going to stir that all together. Now it's up to you how much herbs you use in your mixture. As I always say, more flavor, more better, but it's up to you. So now what we're going to do is get messy. We've already rinsed our turkey, which I highly recommend, no matter where you're getting it from, no matter what kind of turkey it is, no matter what the packaging. Rinse it off. It's a quick and easy thing. Rinse the inside and rinse the outside. We've already done that. So we're going to move it over to our cutting board. We're going to grab our turkey, hopefully without making a mess, bringing it over to the cutting board. And we're going to flip it breast side down to start. So in seasoning the meat, what we're going to do, we've got our butter mixture. We're going to pry the skin away from the meat of the bird. And sometimes you'll need a knife to get that started, but once you do, it's fairly easy. You just need to cut that first initial piece, and then you can start putting your fingers in between the skin layer and the meat layer of the bird. So just continue to pry the skin away from the meat as far in as you can go. And it's really tough skin, so it's not like you can tear it that easily. So get aggressive with it, get in there and pry it apart. Oh, and I tore it. Okay, so we've loosened enough of the skin on this side, so now we're going to add our butter and herb mixture underneath the skin layer. So you just literally get your hands in there, scoop up a bunch, and just start massaging it into the meat. And if you get some on top of the skin, don't worry about it, it's all flavor. But you want to get the majority of it underneath that skin layer and onto the meat. The butter's obviously going to stick to your fingers and it gets kind of messy, but it's so worth it in the end. Okay, once you've done the back of the bird, you want to flip it over and get the breast side the same way that you've done this side. So flip this thing over, try not to make a mess, don't flip it too fast, splatter turkey juice all over the place. And then you want to start peeling the skin away from the meat again. It's much easier on this side, less connective tissue from the skin to the meat. So you can just sort of slide your fingers up and feel those connections breaking away. And you come at it from both sides. You come at it from the neck side up underneath, and you come at it from the tail side going up. And then again, we scoop some of our butter mix and up in underneath the skin layer. And don't worry about if you've got chunks of butter, those are all going to melt and it's going to be delicious. But try and massage it in as much as you can. If you've got some of your butter and herb mixture left over because you mixed a lot of it, don't worry about it. We're going to show you how to utilize that coming up soon. But first we want to wash our hands. We've whipped together a quick stuffing that we're going to stuff our turkey with. You can choose to stuff your turkey or not. It's all personal preference. So we're just going to scoop. We're going to prop our turkey up. And we're going to scoop some of our stuffing right inside. It's still hot, so I'm using a spoon instead of my hand. Okay, so we're done stuffing our turkey. We're going to start preheating our oven right now. We're going to preheat at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. We've got a 15-pound turkey here. We're going to go roughly 20 minutes per pound. It depends on whether you have your turkey stuffed or not, how long you give your turkey. You may want to check with your turkey brand. Sometimes they come with instructions and recommendations as to how long you should cook that particular turkey. I always advise to go with the recommendations of whichever turkey brand you've purchased. But this is what's working for our turkey, and that's what we're going to do. So we're going to start our oven at 350 degrees and get it ready. As you can see here, we've already got our giblets in a pot boiling on top of the stove. That's going to be for later for our gravy. We'll get to that. So now what we want to do is we want to do our exterior seasoning of our turkey. So we're going to bring over our tray that we'll be baking our turkey in. If you've watched any of our previous videos, you know that we've got our own line of infused salts and seasoning blends. So today we're going to be using our Bonelio's Simply the Best Pork and Poultry Rub. Have a look. We're going to gently season the outside of our turkey with our favorite rub for pork and poultry. It's a delicious blend. So we're just going to sprinkle some on the top. So now for tip number 2 in making a better turkey, we're going to transfer our turkey from the cutting board into our tray, but we're going to do it by flipping our turkey over and baking the turkey with our breasts on the bottom side. So we're just going to grab our turkey, flip it into the pan. We're going to move our cutting board out of the way. And now with the back of our turkey up, we're going to season this side as well. So now tip number 3, think about this. With the combination of our herb and butter dressing under the skin and our Bonelio's Simply the Best Pork and Poultry Rub on top, with all the juice that's going to run off the turkey into our tray in combination with the melted butter and herbs and our seasoning, that's going to make an amazing start when we mix that with the boiled water from our giblets, and we're going to cook that down and make an amazing turkey gravy from all of this. That was the sound of our oven reaching preheated temperatures. So now we're ready to put it in. You might be asking yourself, Chris, why would I put my turkey breast side down? My mom always cooked it breast side up, and it's so golden and gorgeous. Well, here's the secret and why it's a tip. The majority of the natural juices of any bird are in the dark meat. When you flip the bird upside down, all of that cooking time is going to allow those juices to soak right through your white meat, the typically drier meat. So now you've got all that working for you, and we're going to flip it in our last half hour to golden up that breast side, the presentation side, so that when you put it out on the table for your family and your friends, it's going to look as gorgeous as when your mom did it, but it's going to be even juicier. So we're ready to go. Open up the oven. And start the clock, and we're ready to go. Okay, we've got about a half an hour left to go, so now we're going to take the bird out and we're going to flip it so our breast sides get that nice golden look to them. So we're just going to put our oven mitts on. When you open it, wait for that wave of heat to come out of the oven, and then just grab your pan out carefully. It's looking nice and golden. How do you want to flip your turkey? Well, you don't want to burn yourself. That's a good thing. So we have these handy dandy little skewer things that are meant for digging into meat. And we're going to try our best to not destroy the bird. while flipping it. So we're going to jab right in, jam it into our bird as deep as we can go. And we're going to rotate. And just a simple side note, we're rotating the opposite way of our stuffing so our stuffing doesn't get rotated to the bottom and potentially fall out. So you can see the meat is already pretty done. We just want to golden up this top skin. Here's a quick little tip. We're going to take our seasoning that we were using and we're going to sprinkle some more on top because this is nice and wet where all the juice has been dripping down through the breast and around the skin. So why not give it some more flavor on top? Just a little bit. Okay. Our oven mitt's back on. Open up and back into the oven for the last half hour. Perfect. We've given our turkey that half an hour with the breasts back upward so that we can get that nice golden color that we were seeing on the bottom now back on the breasts. So we're ready to pull it out. We're also going to check our temperature. And typically with turkey, you want to go anywhere between 165 and 180. Check and make sure that it's to your liking because everybody varies. But you'll also want to rest your turkey for 25 to 30 minutes after you take it out, and it will continue to cook during that time. So if you check your temperature right when it comes out, it's still going to be cooking a little bit. You might end up with a higher internal temperature by the time you're done. So we're going to pull our turkey and we're going to check the temperature and make sure that we're ready to go. So you can see we've gotten a nice golden color all on the top here, nice and crispy. And who doesn't like crispy skin? So we've just done a quick read with our instant read thermometer. We're at 165 perfectly. So now we're just gonna let it rest for 25 minutes to a half an hour, and we're gonna get the rest of our stuff ready, and we're gonna show you our final shot of what our turkey looks like and why this is the best way to make your turkey and make it more juicy than any other turkey, better than basting could ever do. We'll be back. You remember when I said that we'd have a purpose for our leftover herb butter? Well, we're just gonna grease up our pan for our gravy with that butter, and it's going to add some extra flavor to our gravy. We've checked the temperature of our turkey. We've let it rest. You can see all the juices that have seeped out since we've been letting it rest. So now we're gonna slice into it, see how juicy this bird turned out. So we're gonna take this wing off just so we can see what we're doing. And we'll remove this drumstick. You can see, of course, dark meat's gonna look nice and juicy, but we're looking to slice into this breast and just see all that gorgeous white meat. Not dry, look at that juice. Perfect. And that's how we get nice and juicy turkey.